Good day, everyone. Welcome to Tutors. On today's episode, we are going to solve and analyze a question. We're going to see how to analyze standard question. Now, it says use the stratigraphic section described below. Okay, stratigraphic section described below to answer question 3A to E. And 3A to E. Okay, so there are questions. These are the questions A to E. These are the question A to E. So good. Says 10 meters thick of moderately sorted high angle planar cross-bedded sands sitting directly on 2 meters thick poorly sorted very coarse sand size deposits with erosive base. Section 1 above is overlain by 5 meters of well sorted ripple laminated sandstone and siltstone bed. This is then overlain by 2 meters thick of parallel laminated siltstone and mudstone bed. Section 2 above is then overlain by 4 meters thick of poorly sorted planar cross-bedded sand and capped by 3 meters thick of mudstones. Good. Our first question there is draw a scaled lithology log for the 26 meters thick section described above. Draw a scaled lithology log for 26 meters long. So what I do first is I draw a sketch so that I will not make mistake when I'm plotting my log. I'll draw a sketch of how everything would actually look like for my sketch. So let's start. Let's just start first. Now they first tell us that what we have 10 meters thick of moderately sorted. Those are just description of high angle planar. They've talked about the structure. It is 10-meter thick. The structure that is there is planar, cross-bedded. Okay, you need a sign for planar. Right? Good. Planar. This sign. Planar cross-bedded. Sitting directly. Let's leave the sitting directly on something. Now 10 meters thick. So we know that it's a rock or a lithology that is 10 meters thick, okay, that consists of sand, right? They call it sand, cross-bedded sand. The symbol that is there is planar. That is structure. The structure that is there, planar. Okay. Now, you now say that this 10 meter thick here of moderately sorted sand, cross-bedded sand, is sitting directly. So it's sitting on something directly on the 2 meter thick, poorly sorted, very coarse sand size. 2 meters thick. 2 meter thick. 2 meter thick. It's sitting on something that's 2 meter thick. Poorly sorted. Okay, but they say it's coarse. It's coarse green, right? Coarse sand time green. So normal to reach the coarse section. Okay, and coarse sand side deposit with erosive base. How do we draw erosive base? So if they say this is erosive base and we're drawing a channel, that this is where it's going to start from. This is where it's going to start from. So erosive base is drawn in this kind of manner. Erosive base, something like this. Something that's eroded. Okay, good. This is where we have the grain sizes. They're very, very big, coarse grains. This one is small, small ones. This is just a sketch, okay, telling you how it's going to look like. Okay, good. They didn't talk about any structure in this place. So we are done with section 1. Very easy, right? Now, 2, say section I above. What do they say? This, everything that is here, everything, which is what we have here, from here to here, okay, is overlain. They say something is over. It means on top, right? Is overlain by 5 meters. Is overlain by 5 meters. So you say something is overlain by 5 meters of well sorted ripple laminated. Overlain by 5 meters. So you do 5 meters. 5 meters of well sorted ripple laminated sandstone. How did you draw ripple? Ripple is drawn. This is structure for ripple. Sandstone and siltstone. So in that place you have 2 sediments. We have the sandstone, which is measured first. Then we have the what? The siltstone. Okay. This is the symbol. This is what I want to use and draw for my silt. Then you can put the structures inside. This is just a sketch. Okay. This F structure. Okay. For ripple laminated. Now, this is then overlain. This is then overlain. They still overlain what is above now. This guy, this 5 meter now is overlain by what? Under 2 meter. 2 meter. 2 meter what? thick of parallel laminated siltstone and what mudstone. So we have parallel lamination, parallel lamination. This sign of parallel lamination. Can you see this sign? Parallel lamination sandstone. So it's very, very small. Anytime you see laminations, they are very, very small, small grains. Okay, like fine grains. That I mean. So we have sand and also silt. Just draw it in a kind of way. Okay, but this is just a sketch. So now everything look like uh 2 meters thick, siltstone and okay, they said they mentioned siltstone and mudstone. Okay, so let's imagine that as siltstone and mudstone. Don't forget parallel lamination. Very, very tiny symbol. Okay, now we are done with section 2, have we? Now section 3. Now say that section 2 above is then overlain. Is then overlain by what? 4 meters thick of polysorted planar cross-bedded sand and capped by 3 meters thick of what? Of mudstones. Is overlain by what? 4 meter. On top of this guy, they say 4 meter on top. By planar or by what? Polysorted. They now mention planar again. Planar. So polysorted means they have scattered grains, different kind of grains inside it, big and small. Planar boy sand. So it will be longer, right? Sand is longer than all these silt. You know, silt is very early in the grain size level here. But sand, since they say it's sand they're talking about, so it's as if it's coming up again. Okay, and you're having planar, that F that looking as if it's falling down. Okay, so that's it. What you're going to have is something like this. Can you see? Something like looking like a crevasse play. Okay, that's just I think I've slipped some answers to your mouth. Now and now it is now capped by what? 3 meters thick of what? Mudstone. By 3 meters what? Thick of what? Mudstone. 3 meter thick of mudstone. So mudstone is like clay. You can just draw small, small particles, small particles, small particles. Mudstone. 3 meters thick of mudstone. 3 meters thick of mudstone. Mudstone is very, very small. So it will be the clay will be around this side. The thing will come up and it will now end there. Good. Can you see? This is how the structure will look like that we're going to sketch. We're going to sketch. Okay. So in next video, we're going to section. We're going to now draw our lithology log for the 26 meters thick section described above. We're going to draw the lithology log 27. So this is our lithology log. You know, I've been saying it already that if you want to sketch in the exam, you must make sure that you write your stuff in full. Okay, so how did I do all of this? I just took my stuff and I rule a line. I give each of them one centimeter spacing, 1 centimeter spacing, and I wrote their name: clay, silt, very fine, fine, medium, coarse, very coarse, pebble, cobble, gravel, something like that. Yeah. Okay. So height. How did I do my height? So I just used 1 centimeter represents 3 units. 1 centimeter represents 3 units. 1 centimeter represents 3 units. So when we say 1 centimeter represents 3 units, so I still use 1 centimeter to here. Okay, but I'm using increment of 3. It's just a scale. Okay, that's the scale I use. Because they told us that we should draw a scaled lithology log, and that's why I use a scale. Now they say for the 26 meters thick section described above. Okay, so all of these are with all of this length from the 2 meter 10, 2 plus 10, 12, 12 plus 5, 17, right? So 17 plus the rest will give us 26. Now let's sharply just move on to sketching. From our sketch, we have an idea of what we're going to do, right? So we're moving from a quartz, from down. You know, they mentioned quartz, moving from a quartz grain. That we draw it. This quartz region, this kind of region. Quartz. Okay. Quartz was at 2 meter, you know. These are the things, right? Quartz 2 meter. You know this 3. 0 to 3, right? So around there should be like 2. Okay, coarse. Then after coarse, we have moderately sorted, that is almost 10 meter. Moderately sorted, let's move from medium to fine. It will cross from medium to most fine grains. But it reach, this is where it reach 10, that's where 12. 2 plus 10. The place where it stop, the sand that is moderately sorted is at 12. Sand that is moderately sorted, 2 plus 10, that's 12. So I'm stopping exactly at 12. Okay. Then next, after 12, we have 5. What is the next 5 meter? Next 5 meter is on that have well sorted ripple laminated sandstone. That means sandstone and what? Siltstone. So I'm going to reduce further to go further to the region of silt. You know this is where silt is. So it has sand and silt. Silt is here, Abi. 12 plus 5, 17, Abi. 12 plus 5, 17. How did I get my 12 plus 5? This is where 12 is, Abi. And the next one that have silt and sand is plus 5, right? This is the depth, the thickness 5, that's 17. So as at 17, I'm going to stop at silt. Can you see that? Silt. Uh, now, after silt, we are going to, this is then overlain by 2 meters thick of parallel laminated siltstone and what? Mudstone. So it's still same thing. 3 meters, is 17. 17 plus 3, that's like 20. So just go here, right? Almost at clay. Since they say mudstone, it's almost at clay. It's almost at clay. You can just do like this to note that you're in the same region. Okay, good. Now we have this, right? Now 20. The next, let me just move the question part. The next, we've gotten to 20 meter. 5 plus, okay, we're done with the mudstone part. Now say the section above is overlain by 4 meters thick of what? No, 20 plus 4, that will be what? 24, right? This 20, 20 stop at clay. Now say, this is then overlain by 2 meters thick of what? Parallel laminated, sorry, is overlain by 4 meters thick of planar cross-bedded sand. Is sand now, Abi. So from this guy now, we're going to move to what? To sand. To sand. You can move to like medium or fine sand. Okay? Planar cross-bedded. Let's just move to medium sand. This is where medium is, right? Medium is here. Okay? Exactly at 24. Okay? So now we are there, right? Just make it curve stylishly. So when we are here, next, after that, you now say it is now capped by 3 meters thick of what? Mudstone. So it keeps reducing until you reach what? Mudstone. Here is 27, but the height of all the thickness of our doing is 26. We're going to like this. Can you see that? Okay. Oh, let me clean very well so that feel makes sense. Something like this. Okay, good. So yeah, but depending on your skill that you use here, you can make it more bigger and larger. But this how to do the first sketch. Now we have done this. The next thing is now to for us to put our lithology, right? The first one we're starting with is the coarse grains. The very first one at 2, then the next one at 12, the next one at 17, the next one at 19, next one 23, next one at 26. Okay, good. Now let's start. The first one is erosive base, right? Need to have an erosive base. That's why we have all this sketch here. Have an erosive base. We have an erosive base. We have the erosive base. On the erosive base, we have inside it we have 2 meters of quartz grains, big grains, big grains, quartz grains. Okay. After that, we now have 10 of moderately sorted sand, okay, that are planar. Moderately sorted sand. So to this place, we have moderately sorted sands that are planar, moderately sorted sand. Make sure, like, make it look moderately sorted. Okay. This one is polysorted. You know what polysorted means? Polysorted means they will be big, they'll be small. They'll be big, they'll be small. Like, you have to describe it very, very well. Because that's what they used to describe the kind of grains that the erosive base. You have polysorted, they are very, very coarse. That's why you have large grains there. But you have to show that they are polysorted, which means a mixture of this and this. But when I say moderately sorted, when there's moderately sorted, you just can give it a kind of same size setting. You know what sorting means? This means you've arranged them very, very well. Okay, and you can even increase it a bit. So you're not just entering into each other. They are well sorted. Okay, so inside them you can put your planar design because they call it high angle planar cross bedded. So planar is this guy. High angle planar cross bedded sandstone. Okay, so we've done that. Next we're going to talk about the now section 2. It says overlain by 5 meters of what? These are 12. This is 12, are we? 12 is where this one stops. So 12 plus 5, 17. I'm going to stop here for the next drawing of well sorted ripple laminated. It's okay, ripple. But it says sandstone and what? Siltstone. So sand, can just start from very, very fine sand regions and reduce the size of your sand, reduce the size of your sand. Okay. So you even say it's well sorted, and it's very, very well arranged. Well sorted, well sorted. Then you can use this place for the silt. Okay, dash and dot can represent your silt. You can use just anything to represent all this your stuff. Then for the structure, ripple laminated. How do you do ripple laminated? You use this F that's looking as if it's falling down. Something like this. Ripple laminated. Okay, ripple laminated. Ripple laminated. Okay, after ripple laminated, you're going to have now say it is overlain by parallel. You know this 17. 17 plus what? Now let's say overlain by 2 meter thick of parallel. 17 plus 2, 19. A bit after this, right? Parallel laminated siltstone and what? Mudstone, right? Siltstone and mudstone. So let's say silt, silt still continues. Then we now reach mud. Mud, you can just use dot dot dot. Very, very small. They are very, very tiny particles. Or let's say fine grains particles. So but they call them parallel laminated. So parallel lamination is actually kind of small thin lines. Small thin lines. Parallel lamination. Okay. Now then I say that the section above is overlain by 4 meters thick of polysorted, under polysorted region again. So here was 23, are we? 23, 19 plus 4. We stop at 19 here, right? Yeah. Okay, then for 23, then we have polysorted. Polysorted grains. So we have baby grains again, this region, this with small ones. As polysorted, there's always mixture of big, medium, just idea of sorting in your sedimentology. Okay. The dimensional planner. So this is planner, it's to have that T, the falling T. Okay, inside it. Then I say it is capped by what? 3 meters thick of mudstone. 3 meters thick of what? Mudstone. This place. 3 meters thick of what? Mudstone. Okay, good. Here can see be showing the yeah. Good. So you write in your book after all this drawing, after all of this, we're now going to move into the next video. We are going to answer some questions. Thank you.